Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, that cold front that I mentioned is moving through our area and the temperature is dropping. And so we're expected over the next week to have some fairly cold temperatures down in the low teens at night a few times, it looks like. So we're definitely going to get a good taste of winter. And a lot of the country, it looks like, is going to have some temperature dropping over the next few days. I know a lot of you already have. I know that there's snow in places and stuff, but I'm talking about a good bulk of the country is going to be experiencing some colder temperatures over the next coming days. And maybe this is finally that cold, dark winter that Joe Biden predicted so long ago. But maybe his cold, dark winter is about to happen, and I'm not referring to the weather. I'm speaking of what's going on in Europe, of the very real growing potential of nuclear war. And I know that there's still so many people that are saying it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, it's never going to get to that point. And while you may still be technically correct, I think the chances of nuclear war are definitely growing with the obvious drumbeat to war that the West is they're trying to get something started with Russia. And at some point, I think Russia is going to have to make a decision to definitely react to it or to back away. I mean, there's almost no other choice for them at this point. Obviously, I've talked about how the United States, Britain, and France have given authorization for longer range missiles to be used against Russia, and that's been happening quite a bit. And then I talked about this morning about how it's been talked about in the news that U.S. officials are now contemplating giving Ukraine nuclear weapons, which to me, just the fact that's even being discussed sounds crazy. But now it's in the news that also British officials are also considering the same thing. And I guess they're talking with the United States of, should we do this? How's this going to work? All that kind of stuff. One of NATO's top generals issued a warning to businesses in Europe that they should start preparing for wartime scenarios. And I'm not exactly sure what he means by that, but I would assume it's something to do with businesses kind of switching over and manufacturing things for war, ramping up that production process. Possibly that's it. Several countries in Europe, United Kingdom, France, a few others, are considering actually deploying troops in Ukraine to fight alongside Ukrainians, get the right word out there, especially since now there's North Korean troops fighting with Russian troops, and Russia has conscripted or not conscripted, but are paying a bunch of Yemenis troops to fight alongside them also. NATO is also considering doing preemptive strikes against Russia. That's also in the news. So give them nuclear weapons, preemptively strike Russia, deploy troops inside Ukraine. This all sounds like a big old world war that's developing. I mean, there's already been people on both sides of Ukrainian forces and Russian forces that's already said that it's already World War III. It's already World War III. German authorities announced that they are currently developing plans to use transit stations, subway stations, as bomb shelters, and are encouraging their people to learn how to use them and go to use them. You know, I guess the people that didn't grow up in the Cold War, I would think that most people that did grow up in the Cold War era doesn't need a whole lot of training on that, especially in Germany, but who knows? The point is that there's just, it's almost a daily march towards global destruction, global war. And this is just in reference to the Eastern European theater. There's still the growing tensions between Iran and Israel. It was announced today that Israel and Hezbollah seems to have come to a ceasefire agreement, but there's a lot of people believing that that's probably not the case, that it's going to fall apart, because apparently Israel is demanding that they stay in southern Lebanon, and basically Hezbollah is they're not getting anything out of it, it seems, other than the ceasefire. So I'm not too confident that that will stick, but we will see. I've been wrong before. And then also, there's been discussion, even Russia has discussed that how their medium to long range missiles can also strike American targets in the Asia Pacific region, not just hit targets in Europe, but also go the other way and hit targets in, the Asia Pacific region, which there's a lot of American targets over there. So there's a constant drumbeat of threats and a drumbeat towards, potential World War III. And I think that is where we're headed. I mean, even if Trump gets in, not if he gets in office, but when Trump gets in office, even if he truly works towards creating some kind of peace plan and is able to successfully do that, it's not going to happen overnight. And I have a feeling that the war is already kind of going to be going by then, because it would make it much more of a dramatic success if he created peace out of a big war instead of stopping it. And I know that the plan is still to try to stop the war before it happens, but the way things are going, it's very likely. I mean, we're 2 months away, and the things are moving very rapidly. If there's a decision to go ahead and give Ukraine nukes, or even if it's small stuff, dirty bombs, or authorize that kind of stuff, that's going to escalate things dramatically. If NATO troops gets deployed inside of Ukraine officially, that's going to dramatically escalate things. And my goodness, if NATO actually does do preemptive strikes against Russia, very much escalate things. And the United States is going to get drug into this, whether we like it or not. I think this is something that's going to be very difficult for even Donald Trump to rein in and to keep America out of, because we're just so highly integrated and connected to this. It's going to be difficult. The deep state, even if Donald Trump is truly trying to stop it or to pull us out of this, the deep state's going to fight tooth and nail, probably more than they ever did the first time around with him in office. And so it's almost past the point of no return. And we need to get ready for this. This is serious. And most of Americans are just not tuned in on this because it's over in Europe. What's interesting is if you go back in history and you read history, America did the exact same thing the last World War. Americans were just kind of oblivious to what was going on. I mean, they knew about it, they heard about it, but they weren't really that concerned with the war in Europe because, well, that was Europe. It's on the other side of the planet. Until America actually got involved in it. And then it was this crazed race to try to catch up. And at least back then, we had a patriotic, hardworking, sane population that could do that. We had a manufacturing base. We had the capabilities of making things. Nowadays, we don't have any of that stuff. And we're already teetering on just falling apart as a nation. And so I personally believe we're in a much, much worse place than we were the last World War we fought. And I don't think it's going to go as well for us. We need to be ready for this. Keep stocking up, keep prepping up, because there's too many other factors that's going on. Border crisis, mental health crisis, just social, moral crisis here in America. This bird flu thing, it's picking up speed. There's more and more people over there on the West Coast that keep getting this bird flu, and they're saying that it's just one mutation away now from being pandemic level, infection. And then considering all of the appointments that Trump has made, not all of them, but a lot of them, that were all for the COVID pandemic lockdowns, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence in this kind of stuff, and that it's going to be handled correctly. So that's why we have to prepare. So why we have to keep continually mentally getting ourselves ready for it, getting our families ready for it, get ourselves spiritually ready for it, working on our communities, our tribe, our people around us. Because things aren't getting better, folks. They're just continually getting worse, maybe in a slightly different way, but they're still going down that path. And we don't want to get caught off guard, and we don't want to be asleep on this one. So keep getting your houses in order. Keep preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.